Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Well, I know you don't have a lot of time, so let me just get right to the questions, okay? So, Miss the Stephanie Wilson, when did you first realize that you wanted to become an engineer?
I was very fortunate that my parents and my teachers were uh, very interested in education and very supportive of my educational interests. In middle school, I took a career awareness class and was asked to interview someone who worked in an interesting career field. And at the time, I was interested in astronomy. I interviewed a local area professor at a college in Western Massachusetts and was fascinated by his work. He had the opportunity to do research, to work with students, and I thought that participating in science in that way would be a wonderful way to fill out my career dreams. I also had an interest in understanding how things are put together, how devices and components work. So from that science interest, I moved over to engineering and decided to study engineering in college.
Oh,
And that's how I started on my track in the STEM fields.
oh, great. I'm an engineer too, so I always wonder. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the Artemis Project and your particular role uh, on the team?
Yes, so I'm very excited to be part of the Artemis team. In a way, this is very similar to the assignment that was made for the commercial crew cadre. An initial team was assigned to work with the companies and to help the program move forward. And initially, the assignments were not yet made. They did not know which vehicle they would be working with more closely as time went on. And this Artemis team is similar in that we'll be working with the companies, talking as ambassadors to the nation and to the world about the Artemis program and the NASA programs. And all of the specific roles have not yet been assigned, but many of the members are already working with the lunar companies for the human lander system and other components of Gateway, the orbiting laboratory around the moon, and the other components of the Artemis program.
Great. So now you're a veteran of space flight missions. Is there anything that is particularly exciting about this project for you?
Well, it's very exciting. All space flights are interesting and exciting, and it's always wonderful to be a part of any of the programs at NASA. This in particular, returning to the moon to stay sustainably, going on to Mars. It's a wonderful endeavor in that with the planetary exploration, and that's the special part. That's the part that I'm looking forward to the most, would be the learning about the science and the planetary exploration, which is not something that I've had a chance to participate in.
Okay. Now I saw from your bio that you're also a leader at NASA, and you're currently serving as the mission support crew chief, branch chief, but you've also served in multiple leadership roles. And I am just curious as to what you think you've learned over the years in terms of leadership and your leadership style.
My leadership style tends to be very consensus driven. I tend to be fairly hands off. I try to enable my teams to have enough information to make their own decisions and to do the work that they need to do, and to come to me if they need help with a resource or have a particular question. And I tend to lead my teams in that way and try to enable them to be as efficient as they can. And over the years, I've had an opportunity to see many leaders work with different styles. It's good to be flexible, because every team has a different style or has a different, can have a different approach. And having the opportunity to serve as a leader twice in the astronaut office, and also to do a detail at the NASA Glenn Research Center, working with the spaceflight projects there, has really really given me an opportunity to see the programs across NASA from a broad perspective.
Okay. Now, what advice would you give to women who are trying to develop careers in male-dominated fields?
I would say that to realize that their contributions are important and valued, and to bring everything that they can to the table, just to know their technical areas well, but to feel that they are empowered to speak up and to bring their ideas forward, and to think about the best way to bring value to the team, because every team needs their input. And if the participants are bringing value and are seen as value added, then that helps the team to go forward. Every team that's diverse is more innovative and will come up with more creative solutions. So they should not be afraid to contribute.
Okay. Well, and I mentioned that I'm an engineer, but I also operate programs, STEM programs in middle schools in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And being an astronaut is something that is very popular among children. And I think my students would like to know what can they do to become successful, especially as children of color? What would you recommend that they do as they're growing up to have a similar path as you?
Mentoring is very important, and also exposure to different opportunities in STEM. So I would say it's most important to find their passion. If they are passionate about a particular area in science or engineering, I think the rest will come. They will learn all that they can about that area. They should talk to people who are currently working in that area, or in students that are studying that field, to learn what they can from their experiences, and then they can bring that forward. Every path is different, and so they should not necessarily try to form the same path as these other individuals, but they can certainly learn information so that they can chart their own way and chart their own path. But learning from the people that have studied in that field and learning all they can about that field and bringing that forward will help them to be successful in that field. And similar to what we talked about for women on teams, to not be, to be sure to contribute, to not be afraid to bring their thoughts and their perspective forward.
All right, I know we're running out of time here, but I just have one more question for you before you move on. Now, you've been at NASA for quite some time. I was, taking a look at your bio, and over those years, the decades that you have been at NASA, I'm just curious as what you have seen. Have you seen really intentional attempts to diversify the staff at NASA? I noticed the Artemis team looks pretty diverse, but I didn't know if you, just in your experience from the time you started, have you really noticed an intentional shift in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion?
There is now a fifth area for NASA that is a focus, which is diversity. And I have seen over time a change. I've seen when I was in college in the 80s, of course, there were very few women in engineering. And over time, I have seen increases in women and people of color in the STEM fields. And I've seen a similar shift in NASA with the leaders. Of course, recently, our Johnson Space Center Director Ellen Ochoa served as deputy and then as chief over a period of several years. As deputy and as center director over a period of several years. And so I've seen more women in leadership roles. Our current deputy center director, Vanessa Weich, is a woman of African-American woman. Mm-hmm. So I have seen changes and a focus on making sure that all people are included and represented. And also in our astronaut office and our class selections, not the turtles, but the 8 balls, they were selected in, I'd have to look back at the year, but they were selected in 2013, thank you. And they were half women and half men. Mm-hmm. So when we're selecting our astronaut classes as well, we're looking for diversity.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And I really, you're an inspiration to all of us who are trying to forge new paths and do new things in the world. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for the time.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
You as well.
both.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.